Okay, how Healthie's eLabs work. So in short, Healthie's eLabs allows you to bundle specific lab tests within a package, which then you can recommend to clients, both new or existing, for purchase. eLabs is essentially a quick and easy way for you to receive specific lab work at your recommendation. The eLabs integration comes with the physician network. So when your client purchases a lab, there is a listed MD that is approving the lab. This means you don't have to be an MD in order to request the lab. The labs are then processed through Quest Diagnostics. There's a few disclaimers that you should be aware of. Your client must be 18 years or older to consent to the lab ordering. Lab testing is not available to practitioners or clients in New York, New Jersey, Rhode Island, and outside of the United States. This is due to the state's laws and regulations. This does not have to do with Healthie's policies. One thing that we can recommend is if you are a practitioner outside of these states and your client happens to be, let's say, in New York, they could go to a nearby state, such as Connecticut, to potentially receive, to have their lab processed that way. So your client will need to go, and we'll walk through the client's experience as well, but your client will need to go to a Quest lab site nearby them to have the labs drawn. So how to use Healthie's eLabs. In this part, I'm going to switch into a practitioner account, a demo account, to show you what it's like to set up your package that will contain an eLab. Okay, you should be able to see my account here. So if you're a practitioner, you go to your home screen, and what you're going to do to get started is to go to Billing, and then to Client Packages. You'll see all of the packages that you currently have set up within Healthie, and you can create a new one. For the purpose of this demo, what we're going to do is actually edit a package that I've already created that speaks to a lab ordering. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to edit this package that I've put together as a lab order for calcium. When you create a package in Healthie, you'll be able to add an image. So you can utilize one of our preset images, or you can upload, like I did for this example, upload your own image here. You're going to give your package a title, and you're going to give it a description. We'll talk about this a little bit towards the end, but I do encourage you, even though there's a character limit, I do encourage you to be really descriptive in this section. This is what your clients are going to see. And so it can help sell the package for them. You may also want to include a disclaimer here so that your client knows if they're in New York, New Jersey, or Rhode Island, they won't be able to obtain lab testing in these states. And like with all of our packages, you can add a video if you'd like. And then what you must do is to make the package visible to your client if you would like them to be able to discover the package within Healthie. If not, if you would prefer to keep your packages hidden, you can do that, and then I'll show you how to just share the link directly to the client. This can be really helpful if you do create a lot of packages for multiple different labs. Perhaps you don't want all of these to just be visible to clients, and it might obscure some of other packages that you have, such as your services and subscriptions and appointments. So it's your choice if you want to hide the package or if you want to make the package visible. Then you're going to go to your included items. Here, you'll see your usual appointments and programs, which you can add, and you absolutely can add these within the same package. But now you'll see this new section if you scroll down to labs. What you're going to do is going to put your cursor here, and you're just going to search for a specific lab. In this case, if I wanted to search for vitamin D, all I do is put it in, and here it pops up, and I can select it and have it added to this package. You can add multiple labs to a package. You can curate your own packages that way, or you can have just one individual lab. To remove a lab that you've put in, just exit out and you'll be left with the labs that you would like to include. Then we're going to go to pricing. And you can adjust the frequency, likely for a lab order. This is not going to be a recurring order. This is going to be a one-time purchase that a client will make. And now you're going to see it's by default, you might not see any numbers here. So you're going to have to put in a price or package price. And what you'll see is line items on the side. So the first line item, the lab costs and fees, this is the flat rate and fees for the specific lab. So in this case, for calcium. The different lab orders do have different rates. So you'll be able to see the adjustments there. If you add multiple labs into this package, the rate is going to adjust. So in this case, calcium, the basic lab costs and fees is $38.40. So at a minimum, this is how much the client has to pay. This amount is not refundable. And again, it's not available for clients who are in New York, New Jersey, and Rhode Island. There's also what you'll be able to see. There is the Stripe processing fee, which applies to all of our packages. And so you do have the option to mark up your packages. So in this case, you can, if you want to set the package at a straight flat $38.40, that's what you'll see. And then you'll see the paid to you after the Stripe's credit card processing fee. You'll see that that amount is $0. You can, and this is at your discretion, if you would like to mark up these packages, especially if you're including other services, you may adjust the prices there, and then you can see if there's a net profit for you at the end. So in this case, I'm going to revert back to just the flat rate for this example. And I'm going to click update, or in your case, if this is a new package, you're going to create save. From here, now that your package is created, there's two ways that you can share it with the client. By clicking the sharing button, the screen is going to pop up, the share package screen. You're going to see a preview of what it will look like here, and you can enlarge that by clicking the See Live version. By default, you're going to see a code here, and this is the embed code. So this is if you wanted to add this package directly into your website. So let's say you do have a page on services or specific lab work that you recommend maybe every client obtain prior to an initial consultation or at time of initial consultation. Depending on how you structured your practice, you can absolutely embed this package so that it automatically displays within your website. You can also tab over and get a sharing link. And this is a really popular way to share our packages. And what you'll do is click copy. And a sharing link is something that you can put in an email, in a message, in a button in an email or on your website, and it will automatically link to this package. So for example, if you have a client that you're currently working with and you want to recommend that they have their calcium levels tested, what you can do is go to this package, copy the link, and even if this package is not visible to all your current clients, what you can do is just in Healthie chat, send them this message and this link, and they'll be able to click it and then go ahead and purchase. And I will walk through what the client experience looks like. So what do clients see and how they purchase, and then what it looks like to complete their lab order. And then lastly, you can also go to, you can charge the client directly. So perhaps you're in session with a client and they give you permission. They want to just go ahead and purchase this calcium order because you've discussed it. So what you can do is you can go to the package and you can click charge. And what you'll see is any client who has a credit card on file will pop up. So you can find the client and then you can click charge. Just a note on promo codes. Remember, there is that flat rate and fee. So for the calcium, it's that $38.40. You are not able to process a package with a promo code that will reduce the amount below that. So let's say you have a free promo code for 100% off. If you try and use that, or the client tries to use that, they'll get an error message and they won't be able to go ahead with the purchase. So just going ahead and switching back really quickly, what you'll see, I'm just going to show you on the provider side, and then we're going to switch over to what the client experience looks like. So once your client does purchase this package, you'll be notified. And once the lab order is processed, then you can go to the Labs tab here. And what you'll see, although it should load in a second, what you'll see.
Sorry, Stephanie, to jump in
Yeah.
here. I actually thought that was a demo order, so I had removed that, but I can
Oh, okay.
just a minute. That's my mistake.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, that's Kevin from our team. We had placed an order to show you what it would look like here, but just to let you know, the client name will show the date that the order was created, the status of it, so whether it was whether the client has scheduled their appointment with Quest Labs or not. If they have not yet gone to the site to have their blood drawn, it will read unscheduled. And then under test appointment, what you'll see then is the results when they become available, and you'll be able to click it and see the requisition form, which we have an example of in the presentation. So what I'm going to do now is actually I'm going to switch back into what we're going to see now is the client experience. So to get started for a client, the first step that they're going to have to do is to purchase their package. And what I will do for you is to switch over. So I'm sure a lot of you have test clients and maybe have tested out this experience, but in case you haven't, let's switch over to a client account, which I have ready here. So this is the client's home portal when they first log in. This is our test client here. And what this test client, who we've named Mary, what she'll see is all of this basic information on her client dashboard, and then she's able to go to packages. If you do have a package that is visible, so for example, I've made this the vitamin D testing package here, one of my test packages, I've made this visible to Mary. So what she can do is she can click to learn more, and she can read. This is the description. So again, that's why it's important to add that description. So Mary can maybe read a little bit more about why the vitamin D testing is really valuable. And then she's going to see the included items. And in this case, we've just added the vitamin D1 lab. If there's multiple labs, they'll be fully listed here for her to scroll through to see what else is included. As Mary is already an existing client within Healthie, she doesn't have to put in any personal information. She's just able to click buy now. And once she does that, then what's going to happen, the next step in our client experience here. So the next step is one, that you will receive a notification as a provider that the package has been purchased. If you don't have these notifications turned on, I do suggest that you go to your settings. It's that gear icon on the top right. Go to your settings and then your notifications, and make sure to turn on and make sure you toggle on to receive an email notification when a client purchases the package. I've also included, if this is a new client, this is what they'll see on the screen when they click for this package. They'll be able to put in their first name, their last name, their email, their phone, and their credit card information for payment. Once they complete this will automatically generate a Healthie account for them. So they'll be added into your Healthie account and linked to your account that way. And they'll receive the notification email to create a password so that they'll be able to sign back into their client portal. Here's an example of what the client's going to receive is 2 emails. So the first email is just a confirmation email. So their package is confirmed, and this is basically a receipt. And you'll notice that all emails send from what your practice name is. So in this case, our test account is called Our Businesses Live Better. All right. So the next step that your client's going to do, they purchase their package. Now they're going to have to schedule their appointment with Quest Labs to go and have their blood drawn, and so that the proper test can be processed. They're going to receive a second email for lab order scheduling. This will bring them into their Healthie account, where they'll be prompted to sign a lab order consent form. and schedule an appointment at a nearby Quest Lab site. Once the order is scheduled, they'll receive a confirmation code, which they can then enter into Healthie. And if you'll give me just 1 second, I have examples of what this looks like for your clients, what that ordering process looks like. Great. Okay. So the client will see this. First, they'll see a lab order consent. It's just a policy form that the client is going to have to click off and just provide some personal details. There's nothing you need to do as a provider on that end. You're just it will automatically show for your client. And then now they're going to see this link to click here to schedule. That's going to bring them into this page, a scheduler page through Quest and branded with Healthie. And so what they'll be able to do is put in their zip code and then be able to see any nearby Quest Diagnostics labs where they can have their labs run. They'll be able to pick the site, see the hours, and then book an appointment. While walk-ins are accepted at Quest Labs, we do recommend that a client books an appointment, as appointments are generally given priority. And then they'll just have to complete some personal information there. Once they finish the scheduling step, they're going to get a confirmation code. And so going back just to that initial screen here, this is where they'll put this confirmation code. They can always return to it just by clicking the Labs tab in their client profile, and they'll be able to put the confirmation code and submit it. So this is just making sure that that lab order and their visit to Quest Labs, it's all linked together, and that the information is going to, the requisition form is going to return back into Healthie for the client and for you to be able to access. So next, your client's actually going to visit their lab site. We do recommend that they visit the Quest Lab site at their scheduled date and time and the location. Their lab order is sent electronically to Quest Labs. So there is no need for them to bring any additional forms or any printout or receipt of their payment, as that's all just done electronically for them. They will need to bring a valid photo ID when they come so that they can verify their appointment. And next we have the results. So once the order is processed, and I believe that time frame is within 30 days, Quest must process their labs within 30 days, and it probably will be received a whole lot sooner than that. But once that's received, both you and your client will receive a notification, and you'll be able to access this form directly within Healthie. So both the client and you as the provider will be able to access. So from the client's perspective, they'll be able to go to Labs and they'll be able to view their order. The same for you as a provider. You just go to that Labs tab, you find the client, and then you click to view their order there. And this is just an example. It's a form. So this is what it's going to be able, you can download it here. It's just a document PDF form that you'll be able to have access to. Great. And then lastly, just some tips for using eLabs in practice. As we mentioned earlier, while we were setting up the packages, we do recommend that you pair your other services with eLabs. So really common is if you have clients order labs, you do want them to have a follow-up already on the schedule so that you can discuss the results with them and the recommendations that may follow from there. Be descriptive. So you are selling your eLab within the package description. Be mindful of those 300 characters and use them wisely to really just let clients know what they're purchasing for and if there's any exceptions. And lastly, share the results with other providers of your client's care team. So if you're working with other healthcare practitioners, whether in your organization or if your client has a primary care physician or a specialist that you're working with, you can absolutely share these results with the client's permission and consent, of course. So you can have them sign a consent form, a disclosure consent form, and then you can utilize Healthie's eFax service if this is an external practitioner, so not part of your organization, and you can share a copy of your of the eLabs and or your follow-up recommendations there. We have a few other resources for you. So you can, if you have any questions about eLabs that we're not going to answer or get to today, you can absolutely email us at hello@gethealthy.com. And we do have a lot of information on our help guide. So we do recommend you go to help.gethealthy.com and you can search. There's more information on eLabs, creating client packages, your client's experience, resources for your clients. There's a whole lot of information there that is really helpful for you. And it's always a good place to start if you have a question about the Healthie platform. We have other live classes. So if you're just getting started with Healthie, you haven't set up any packages yet, you don't know how to add any appointments to your packages, you can absolutely join one of our other free live classes. If you go to try.gethealthy.com, you can see recorded classes, and you can also find the link to join our other live classes. So now we're going to open it up. I'm going to switch over and just take a look at any questions that may have come in. Great, and we have Kevin from our team as well here.
Yeah, happy to start running through all these great questions.
Okay, Kevin.
Yeah. The first one that we're seeing is questions around New York and when will these be available in New York? As Stephanie mentioned, this is unfortunately a legislation issue. This is not something related to the tech we built or anything like that. So it's really based on the laws of the state of New York. So unfortunately, it's out of our control, and unfortunately won't be something that probably happens in the short-term future, but we'll definitely be on the lookout for changes there. And whenever New York allows it, we'll definitely make that available on Healthie. Second question thread that I'm seeing is around paying for labs with insurance. So currently, all the labs, at least those initial payments, happen out of pocket. I do know in some cases with insurance, you can create a super bill and get that reimbursed, but that's not something that we currently have built in our eLabs feature. But we do have a super bills feature in Healthie. So Stephanie may be able to speak more to that as well too. But currently, all those initial payments are out of pocket. Got it. Running through the list here, we see what physician is involved in this. So we contract with a physician's network. So it's not one individual physician that we're working with the whole network. They handle the assignment and who's listed as the ordering physician. So my understanding is they're going to have physicians listed in all those supported states. So when the lab is purchased, the physician gets assigned. They're listed as the ordering physician on the requisition form, but it's not like one specific person there. Great. I see some questions around adding the lab tab to your homepage side toolbar. So great question. So if you're on Practice Plus or above, you're going to see those labs when you go to create a package. Once you create a package with labs in it and that package is purchased, then you're going to see the lab tab on the left-hand side. So you're not going to see that tab there until someone has actually purchased one of the labs that you've set up. But that doesn't mean you don't have access to the lab feature. It just means that no one has purchased one yet. Got it. How do you share the lab report into the client's chart in Healthie? Good question. So when we generate that, you're going to be able to click and get a PDF of the results. From there, you could definitely download that and add it to the client's document section as a private document on their profile. And I do believe we have plans there to make that like a one-click add to chart option, similar to what we have with the faxing feature. Let's see. Can you talk about walk-ins? So yeah, with Quest, they do recommend you make an appointment, but it's not a requirement. So your client may have to wait longer. Some of the testing centers with COVID may be generally running on appointments. What I would recommend doing is just having your client call, but in general, Quest is happy to take walk-ins. Are there any plans to add functional medicine labs like Genova? Yes, so we're a big fan of specialized and functional medicine labs in general. The main hurdle there is that Quest offers this great technical integration that we were able to do, but these other ones don't currently. So we're in discussions with a few of them to see what we can do, what we can accomplish. I do know Genova is a popular one that I believe the members of our team have reached out to. If you have any contacts there or anyone that you think would be helpful for us to speak to learn more about what you're doing or get information, feel free to send them along to hello@Healthie. Just send their information, and we'll get in touch with you and them to see if there's an integration we can do with your lab of choice. Are there any limitations to selling the lab order service? Can you order for yourself or someone who is not a client? Also, are there any labs that are not able to be ordered? Great question. So the limitations are the one that Stephanie went over, where it's in those 47 states, but not in New York, New Jersey, Rhode Island, or outside of the U.S. The person getting the lab work done needs to be 18 or older. That actually connects to a question that was asked about can parents sign consent for care? My understanding is that currently no. The person who's actually getting the lab work done, as it currently stands, needs to be 18 or older. But outside of that, there are no additional restrictions. So as mentioned, where you're able to buy directly, get an ordering physician via the physician network. So even if they're not, a client of your dietetic services, even if it's yourself personally trying to get lab work done, you're able to go ahead and just have them buy it. And as far as labs that are not able to be ordered, any lab that you see there listed that you can add to a package is able to be ordered. That's subject to change. So some labs are going to get added there as Quest adds them. Some may get removed hypothetically as an option. But there's anything you're seeing within Healthie, you can order. Jolene asks, is the physician listed as ordering monitoring for abnormal results? And my understanding of this is yes. So they're not just the ordering physician on the requisition form, but they're also taking a look at the lab results when they come in. And if you see the PDF with the results, they have taken a look at that, which I believe is going to flag for monitoring for abnormal results. So around the 38 example goes to lab. Great question. So when you offer a lab within Healthie, we set a minimum price. That whole minimum price is basically getting taken out as a fee and is getting paid to the lab. So I believe we also had a question about how the lab gets paid, and the lab gets paid automatically, kind of based on that fee that's taken. As far as income and tax implications, it is very similar to the payment processing fees you'd already be paying to our payment processor around just taking a credit card in general. So it wouldn't be net income, and then in the reports that you generate, it's going to be listed in the fee column as a total fee. To add on to that, or to add a disclaimer to that, I'm not a CPA or an attorney. So if you want to be 100% sure there, I'd recommend checking with one. But it's done the same way as any other payment processing fees are done. Great. And I believe those are questions. Let's see. Did I miss any questions here? Stephanie, do you see any questions that I didn't get to?
Yeah, Kevin, I'm not able to open the Q&A box for some reason. It's not showing.
Okay.
So
Got it. Well, I see it, and I hope that's it. If I missed your question, feel free to just send a message in the chat. Happy to answer that or answer any follow-ups.
Add to the chat, or you can email us hello@Healthie.com, especially if you don't see the labs tab and you've added it to a package. You're not sure if you have access to labs. If you're on Practice Plus and above, you do. And if you're interested in having access to eLabs, definitely send us an email to hello@Healthie.com. All right. And if you weren't able to tune in today, we will send the recording if you missed it or joined in late or had to leave early. So look out for our email with the replay. Thanks, Kevin, for answering all the questions. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
No worries. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Have a great rest of your day.